Hello, how's it going? Ready? So design has become part of our natural environment. Everywhere we look, we're surrounded by things that people have put thought and time into designing. So the glasses you're all drinking from, the seats you're all sitting in, almost everything that we interact with on a daily basis has been put through a design process. But the majority of this, we just take it for granted. So let's move to the great outdoors and the cars we drive and the public transport we use, the parks we walk in. These have all been designed with the end user in mind. But we never really stop to appreciate the design behind these things. They just blend into our everyday lives. So a big part of our great outdoors that we all use every day is our roads. Every pothole on our nation's roads has been carefully crafted, designed and placed to ensure maximum impact on our arse. Let's be fair. So that aside, our roads do have some redeeming factors, and that's our road signs. So our road signs, we pass hundreds of them every single day. We glance at them, regard, disregard them, and continue walking or driving. But there's a huge unknown history to these lowly road signs. So like everything that was great in the past, the first road signs were developed by the Romans. But they took a slightly different approach than what we see today. They were just simply markers at 1 mile intervals along the edge of the road and marked the way to Rome, the most important place at the time, of course. So directional signs didn't come until about the Middle Ages and simply pointed the way to distant villages and towns. But it was evident that the Middle Ages could see a benefit in having directional signage. This was just the starting point in the modern road sign as we know it. So by the late 1800s, bicycles went mainstream. Cycling organisations started to think about ways to warn cyclists of upcoming obstacles. So these were designed so that even those unfamiliar with roads could navigate safely. So then the Italian Touring Club designed the first road sign system, case in point, when the production of cars began. By the early 1900s, however, it was decided to create a universal system, using symbols to interact with road users. Bump, curve, intersection and railroad crossing were the first ones to be designed. And personally, I think symbols are a great way to interact with road users. It doesn't overpower them or distract them or confuse them, and especially on our roads, I'll remind you of our potholes. So these signs started trending worldwide and became commonplace on our world's roads. Their creation was so successful that they're still in use today. So is this the longest running and perhaps the most successful implementation of user experience still in existence? So now, road signs are not just all symbols, and a lot of time and effort has been put into developing a uniform structure for our national signage. From colour to typeface, there's actually a lot more to these mundane objects than you'd think. They have their own dedicated fonts, called Transport and Motorway, funnily enough, that were designed by two designers called Jacques Kinnear and Margaret Calvert. So they did so with one single goal in mind, and that was to be easily read by motorists travelling at fast speeds. So from testing the readability of these signs, they opted for a mix of upper and lowercase lettering. Now in Ireland, of course, we just use all capitals because we have to be different. So what about their colour? We take it for granted on our roads that blue and green and white, what they mean, but the use of red and orange is a little bit more subliminal. We automatically know that red means danger and orange means caution, and these colours were not chosen by chance. So what about their shape? We've got octagons, triangles, circles, squares, rectangles, and what do they all mean? The idea behind the different shapes is that the more sides that the shape has, the more critical its meaning is. Right. So we know what they should look like, but sometimes people decide to go a bit mental and do their own. And I'm not too sure from these that they actually had the right idea in mind. They also leave themselves open to hijacking, right? And if you take a Sharpie, you can do some amazing things with a road sign, but it completely changes the meaning. Right, so what's next to the road sign? We've already seen electronic road signs come into our roads to display critical, important, real-time information to our road users. But will all road signs eventually become electronic? Whatever the future holds for our road signs, there's one thing that we can all learn from them and can be applied to all areas of interaction design, and that's to be clear and comprehensible and not to confuse your target. So we take our road signage for granted and almost don't even notice the details. But that is in fact the exact intention with the road sign. From the words of Calvert herself, Direction signs and street names are as vital a drop of oil in an engine, without which the moving parts would simply seize up. Thank you.